Hey everybody, let me see if I can get this thing to hold steady here. It's kind of hard. It's awful windy out here today. I'm gonna see if I can't make a little video. I have a feeling this might help somebody. It might give you, might be the last thing that you're searching for. And wow, let's look at you. Let me see if I can clean that window for you a little bit. I've been driving through the shit. Last night was my first night of winter weather. About 40, 50 miles of ice-capped roads. And you can tell I ain't done it in a while, so I was up here about to go into a panic attack. I was shaking, I was scared to death. No, I'm just kidding. It was a little sketchy though. Hey man, I want to touch on something that I feel a lot of people I was always wondering, why do some people achieve and some people don't? Whether it's love or whether it's money and well-being. Some people achieve and some people it seems like they struggle. And a little bit about myself here. I was brought up in poverty. The idea of success was getting accepted for disability. My family was all ate up in drugs and alcoholism. I come from a broken home. By the time I was 10 years old, I visually, personally watched my mama drown. She had drank too much and was at the lake and she drowned. And I just denied the fact and I just told myself she'll be all right. She'll be all right. She'll be all right. And the guys that was with us, at the lake, they pulled her out and gave her CPR and she came back, but that was before I was 10 years old. Also, before I was 10 years old, I come from a family of drugs. My grandmother, that's how she made her money. That's how she raised me. I was raised on drug money. I ain't ashamed of it. It was out of my hands, wasn't my doing. But one time the GBI and detectives and a lot of city boys, we got a knock on the door one night, and they was raiding the house, drug dogs and everything. I was like 8 or 9 maybe, but I remember standing outside with my mom and my grandmother while they ransacked the house looking for drugs. But Granny was tight. She was tight with one of the judges back in the day, and the judge told her, hey, they just put in an order to give you a search warrant, so you need to get anything out. I'm telling you, she was indeed. Anyway, all before I was 10. Another thing is, weekends used to be a family thing of poker, drinking, partying, and this is what I grew up to. One night, my stepfather got mad at my uncle because my uncle called my mom a bitch. Next thing you know, they started fighting. My stepdad had my uncle down on the ground, busted his nose. And I didn't see all this take place. I was in bed. But I was woke up to a gunshot. I came out of my bedroom, and there was Granny holding her 38. She told, getting on them, y'all gonna fight, y'all need to take that junk outside, blah, blah, blah. Now, fired a gun in her own house, in the air. Or through the ceiling. Guys, this is all before I was 9, 10 years old. That stuff, any child shouldn't have to go through. But I did nonetheless. And, it kind of formed me into who I am today. But as I grew up, I knew I wanted better. I strived to be better. I strived to do better. I never got mixed up in that garbage. And, along the ways, I've read a lot of books. Anything from Napoleon Hill to Anthony Robbins. Even some Abraham. Some Abraham. That's just some far out there stuff. But if you catch the message in it, it's pretty powerful, very powerful. It's all about spirituality and the laws of nature. Now, I went on from that to science, to metaphysics, spiritual healing, quantum physics, studied about every religion under the sun, And I mean, I've really been out there truth seeking. Sorry about that noise. It's awful windy out here. That wind gets in my visor up there and makes that little hum. So. But anyway, why do some people achieve and some people struggle? Now here's the thing. If you look at the people that, I mean, this is personally me. I've never been somebody to struggle in the love department. I've always had a girl, and when I was single, it never took no time to fill in another girl. You know, and I ain't had the best of girls, but I've had some good ones. And even now, I mean, I'm married to my dream wife. You know, we rode together like a Cadillac with two flats, with two peas in a pod. You know what I'm saying? People get around us and they're like, I don't see y'all just compliment each other. You know, we're both, I don't know, we just blend, we mix very well. We've been together now since 2006. We ain't gonna lie, we've had our fair share of fights and stuff, but we've never broke up. You know, we've got a 6-year-old boy. And I mean, life is good in that department. Now you take somebody that looks at life and they have a hard time with love and relationships. They always seem to go down the same road. You know, once in a bad relationship, it seems like that's all they do is follow another bad relationship. Now you look at the people, turn this down. Now you look at the people that are always in a relationship, has always got a loved one, you know, happy relationships, happy marriages. If you look at their background, it seems like they went down that same pattern over and over and over until they found the one that actually completed them. You know, and now I'll transfer over to, you know, successful people, accomplished people, people that achieve success. Now you look at some people and they strive. It seems like everything they touch turns to gold. And you look at some people and they struggle. See, every time they get a step up, they're knocked down 5. You know, it's 1 step forward, 5 steps back. Now, if you look at the common difference between these people, it's all one mindset. And that's right, it's a mindset. And you got to dig down deep within yourself to get this mindset. It's very simple. Now, take this at face value. I might not know what in the hell I'm talking about, but then I might just be onto something here. I've read a lot of books, and I've never read this in a book, but I've gained this through my maturity, my wisdom, my studies. And if you look at any success story, whether love and relationships or financial success, you know, just focus on the guys that becomes the wealth success stories. Every one of them busted their ass day in, day out, day in, day out. They was in the ditch. They was in the trenches. They've been on every end of the stick. I'm not talking about old money or, you know, man, that humming has got to go. It's been windy as a mother last 2 days. But anyway, they've been on both ends of the stick. They've busted their ass. They've never given up. They fought the struggle. Maybe this will quit. I've been dealing with about 30 mile an hour headwinds, so anyway, back to this thing here. These guys, they battle the struggle. They've worked year in, year out, you know, being paid peanuts, to the point one day something clicked in them. They become very deserving, and they felt deep down inside that they deserved success. If you're sitting on the couch and you're not chasing your dreams, you don't feel very deserving. If you lay in a bed at night and you pray to God, you know, Jesus, please help me with this and help me with that. Help me land a good job. Help me with a relationship. Help me with love. And in the Bible, Jesus said, faith with no works is dead. Now, if you don't put in the work, you don't feel very deserving. So keep in mind, when you feel deserving, I think that's the point in life where things start coming together. And if you don't feel deserving, I'm gonna tell you right now, get up off your butt and work for peanuts. Get up off your butt and know that you deserve somebody that completes you, that makes you happy. Life is short. Life is not to be spent feeling unworthy. Life is spent to be pleasurable, to be fun. Raise your wow factor. I mean, this is my normal day at the office. You know, I'm riding through New Mexico right now, just looking at these skies and these mountains and rock formations, and I'm just like, wow. You know, this is all pretty amazing stuff. I cannot stress enough, feel deserving for what you want. And the only way you're going to gain that feeling of deserving is you're going to have to put in the work. That's the sacrifice. You're going to have to put in the work. Put in the work, make the sacrifice, and you will start feeling deserving. And once you start feeling deserving, subconsciously, I feel that you'll quit fucking things up. Hope this helps somebody. Peace and God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next video.